It's Dennis O'Brien from Make Your Film. Why are producers so important? Why do producers win the best picture? Well, the truth is the producers are the ones that actually get everything done from the very beginning to the very end. And that role changes depending on where you are. In other words, when I first started in the business, I was in advertising, and the agency producer was a different kind of producer. That producer would take care of all the talent contracts and negotiations, all the paperwork with the client. He or she would take care of the creative team and make sure that they were interfacing with the production people. And then this producer would lead the decision-making process to select a company like mine to produce the commercials. So that's that type of producer. Now, me as a producer, I was a production company producer looking for contracts to bid on. And you get the parameters of the job, like construction, and you bid on the job depending on what your creative team is. So you're usually selected for a creative style. You have a lead or a director who directs it, and you produce behind that person. So then you as a producer are also producing from the beginning to the end, but you're also carrying forth a mission that's being relayed by the client. And in the case of advertising, it's an agency who has a client, and then you become their client, and there's a lot of layers, okay? Now, there's other kinds of producers. There's producers for TV shows. You know, they produce differently. They run television programming. They still do contracts and all those things, and they still have shoot days and cameras, but they're shooting at a different pace than a commercial or a movie, and they're cranking it out on a certain tempo, on a certain flavor. Then there's movie producers who work on long-term projects that last a while, and it's another world unto itself. So as you can tell, there's lots of producers out there, but the producers are the ones that really get it done. They have to ultimately, at the end of the day, make sure there's money to get it done, make sure the actors are there, make sure the crew is there, make sure the director is awake, whatever the issue is. So if you're planning a film and you've written a script, or you have a script already, or somebody else wrote a script and came to you and you're going to pay for it, or little Johnny, your nephew, is making a movie and you're paying for it, make sure you got a producer. I can do that. There's a lot of people that can do it, but there's a lot of people that can't. So make sure when you get a producer that it's somebody that's been on the ground, on the outside, that can maneuver and yet still deal with the unions and still deal with all the legal situations and the police and the talent releases, location releases. Make sure they have enough food. Make sure you interface with the different unions based on where you are and what you're shooting at what time of day or night. Make sure you have provisions for children and dogs and all the other issues that come up on a shoot. Producers have a never-ending checklist of things that they have to do to make sure that everything gets done. And at the end of the day, they're the ones that bring the footage home, get it to the editor, get it out of the edit, and get it on the air. So there's much to learn by watching a producer produce. So if you're putting together your show or movie or doc or whatever you're doing, make sure and if you decide to produce yourself, that's fine too. You can do anything you want in this world. If you're hiring a producer, hire one that's got their wits about them and that can handle a changing terrain, because there's no constant. Everything is in flux, and you've got to lock down the things you can and adjust to the things you can't. So in picking a producer, make sure you've got somebody that can think on their feet, somebody that's relatively calm and stable most of the time, because it's a nerve-wracking business and you can easily get riled up, and then that heats up other people, and pretty soon it's like a towering inferno. So you need to have somebody with sensibilities, somebody with a center, and somebody that can see the finish line, and somebody that will show up every darn day. No mañana stuff, you know what I mean? So if you want to know more, go to my website, makeyourfilm.net. If you want to make a film, let's do it. If you want to do it with me, let's do it. If you're making commercial or marketing materials for your company and you're listening to me, we can do that too. Everything is produced the same way. There's lighting, there's camera, there's grip, there's props, there's wardrobe, there's a storyline. You've got to create a movie for every movie, right? So everything is there, available to you. MakeYourFilm.net. I am Dennis O'Brien. There has never been a better time than right now to make a film. Go do that. Have a great day. Go make your film.